Go, I said. Hello and welcome to Needing a Meeting. My name is Carol. I will be your host today. How is everybody doing? I don't see anybody in the chat yet. If that is due to technical glitches, I apologize. I did just check the live Facebook and I don't see anybody in the chat. So, but I see that there are at least 7 people here. So hello to you. Hey, Space Jeezy. Welcome from the lifeboat. Hi, Hope Between the Dreams. Welcome. Good to see y'all. Jason Ron Steinberger. Hi. Nice to see you. So I'll let a few more people come in here and hopefully some people will show up to actually be in the meeting today. That would be fantastic. Oh, you know what? Tommy Stig Social Club. Hello. First time here from North Jersey. Well, welcome, Tommy. This meeting is open to anybody. Anybody can come on screen. Those who don't want to have their faces shown don't have to. You just opt out of allowing the camera, and it'll just show us a black screen with a little thumbnail in it. So I am going to open up the lifeboat here and post the link to invite anybody in who would like to come in and have a meeting. I meant to do that before I got here, but I was just kind of scrambling. I got into some house cleaning today. Hi, Mayonnaise Entertainment. Good to see you. All right, let's see here. Pardon me. Please hold, as Spanx likes to say. Okay, we are muted. All right, and I'm going to post the link here. Copy and paste. Okay, and I'll also here in on the needing a meeting side if I can get that volume button to go away. Here we go. All right. That link that says Carol at Needing a Meeting and that it says studio.restream. That will take you in so that you will show up on screen either with your face or with a thumbnail picture of some sort or an initial. And yeah, because I don't like having meetings by myself. I'm not a talking head. I say it and I mean it when I say it. It is never a meeting without you. And so, hi, Nancy. Good to see you. So yeah, I was going to read from the Daily Reflections of Alcoholics Anonymous. I was an AA member my first 7 months sober. And then after that, I turned to kind of an extreme version of Christianity that it eventually landed me in a cult. So I'm in recovery not only from drugs and alcohol, but also from extreme religious abuse, nothing like just harrowing, but abuse of people, manipulation and, overworking people and, keeping them so tired they can't think, that kind of thing. There are a lot of markers that were very cult-like kind of all along. But hey, Monique, good to see you. So yeah, I'm also recovering from childhood abuse. we kind of cover a lot of ground here at Needing a Meeting. It's recovery from all kinds of things, whether it's an addictive behavior or a drug of choice or an abusive situation. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, I was a member of AA for 7 months. And, I kind of had, I guess what you'd call a religious experience that I attributed to Jesus at the time. And I don't discount it now. I just don't have the answers that I used to have. That's kind of what attracts people into a cult, is they have the answers that you're desperately searching for. And I was a seeker. I was a desperate seeker, I guess you could say. And so about 3 months in, I was always calling my higher power, not my higher power, but Jesus. And they didn't like that. I'd always get somebody coming up to me after the meeting saying, God of my understanding. And I'm like, well, that is my God of understanding for now. I mean, until somebody shows me different, this is where I'm at, and nobody ever did. So, but, it just got a little hard to kind of reconcile calling myself an alcoholic when, I don't want to be an alcoholic. Why would I call myself something that I don't want to be? It doesn't mean that I'm discounting the addiction and that I'm discounting, the abuse, but how does that help? You know what I mean? How does it help me recover to call myself an alcoholic? I couldn't reconcile that. And so it began to be kind of clear that maybe AA wasn't going to be a good long-term solution for me to stay clean. And one thing I will say about being in an extreme religion is I did stay clean. I did stay sober, and it was a matter of putting my focus somewhere else. And so, yeah, this is on May 22nd. They have a reflection for every day of the year. And on May 22nd, it says we ... the first word of the first step of the 12 steps and 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous. And the commentator says, when I was drinking, all I could ever think about was I, or me, such painful obsession of self, such soul sickness, such spiritual selfishness bound me to the bottle for more than half of my life. The journey to find God and to do his will one day at a time began with the first word of the first step, we. There was a power in numbers. There was a strength in numbers. There was safety in numbers. And for an alcoholic like me, there was life in numbers. If I had tried to recover alone, I probably would have died. With God and another alcoholic, I have divine purpose in my life. I have become a channel for God's healing love. And I love that, whether your higher power is the collective, of people, like-minded people that are there for a singular purpose. That's why things like AA works. Things like AA, they work because, you have people that are focused let's see, I want to read Misha's comment here. I think I do. Let's see, let's bring it up here. I keep putting it on and it keeps deciding it wants to take it off. I'll be a chronic scholar until the day I close my eyes for the last time on this realm. That's one of the things I struggle with. And also love. There are so many answers. They are hidden. It is ours. Right on. But yeah, the peer support, I don't know that there is a more powerful weapon against addiction than that. Honestly, you know, and for some people that is the higher power. And you know, whatever your higher power is, you know. Yeah. I love this. There was a power in numbers. There was a strength in numbers. There was safety in numbers. And for an alcoholic like me, there was life in numbers. If I had tried to cover alone, I probably would have died. With God and another alcoholic, I have divine purpose in my life. I've become a channel for God's healing love. And Monique says, for me, AA helped for the waiting list. For the waiting list? I missed the uplifting conversation and sharing conversation. Yeah, you know, I suppose if I'd have stuck with it, I probably would have found a group where I could have had some actual fellowship after the meeting, and that would have been very good. You know, as it was, there was a lot of guys trying to date me, you know, take me out for coffee afterwards, and that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to go out with a group of people and fellowship that way. Kristen Melinda. Hello. Hi, Carol. Hi, everyone. Have a work meeting but wanted to say hi and send love. Thank you, Kristen. For therapy. Okay. And sharing conversation for therapy. So, you know, my mind has been kind of drifting back to those early days of recovery since I've been doing this. And, yeah, it was quite a journey. I was living in a shelter for the homeless, and I wasn't there of my own volition. I was told that in order for my caseworker to recommend me for a long-term stay in the shelter, I would have to have a recovery program. She wasn't going to make me do 90 meetings in 90 days, but she was going to make me do 3 meetings a week and also do chores there at the shelter. And she was going to recommend that I go to more meetings if I could. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. You know, at the very least, I can learn how to help my alcoholic friends. That is literally what I thought. I had no clue. I was such a, you know, dump of the turnip truck. Just popped off the turnip truck and didn't have a clue. Not one. Look at the opposite of peer support. Most of us have felt it at one time or another. I'm so tired of always being lonely, but never alone. That is hard, Misha. That is hard. I've been there. You know, I was in a marriage where it was probably, if not the loneliest time of my life, which I think it's in the good running of being the top, but it would be in the running of the top 3. And you know, and also being in a cult was very lonely because I began to some things weren't looking right. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it wasn't looking right. It wasn't smelling right. It wasn't feeling right. Something was off, you know. Get Rebecca in here. I thought I talked. Hey, Rebecca.
How are you? I was like, you look so lonely when there's no one else here.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
I'm just
the waiting list for therapy. Okay. Just what now at work?
I said I'm just wrapping up work.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'll let you go. Sorry.
Anyway, did you catch much of that?
I just joined.
Okay. Misha was talking about, I was reading Misha's comment. Look at the opposite of peer support. Most of us have felt it at one time or another. I'm so tired of always being lonely but never alone. And, and I was just sharing that if not the top most lonely period of my life, it's in the running of the top 3 was when I was in a marriage and lonely. And I don't think I've ever been more lonely than that, except for in the cult. When I was starting to kind of wake up and not being able to put my finger on why isn't this feeling right? Something isn't right here. What is it? And you can't put your finger on it, and everybody else is full in as far as
Right.
But, people left all the time. People would come and they would go, and of course, those who left were, they left because they were in rebellion. And that means they're on their way to hell, essentially.
Of course.
Not because there's anything wrong with what you're doing. Taking people's mortgage money, making people take out a second mortgage on their home, taking that money and buying your 4 kids college education and buying them $60,000 and $80,000 vehicles. And yeah.
Yep.
Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. And let's just say he did not use the mortgage money for that stuff. Even if he did not use the mortgage money for that stuff, people lost their homes doing that. After another, after another. People displaced out of their homes with families. People with families.
Yeah.
And if he did come into some kind of windfall some other way, why didn't he make sure that his congregation was okay? That he shelled out some money, some of that windfall that he got to help them get into a home after they lost their home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And were foreclosed upon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
I don't know that in that, I don't think to some level that they care.
Right. You can't.
The people that are at that level
care and do that. You cannot care about people and
right.
create that dynamic and do the things that he did.
Yep. And in essence, guilt people into giving you all their money.
Yeah.
That they're not doing enough if they don't do absolutely everything they do. And then what happens if they lose their job, or what happens if they can't make their next mortgage payment?
Yeah. And the losing the job thing was a very real thing because, he'd get into these properties that needed all this work, and we'd all put our hands to the plow, so to speak, and we'd be up till midnight, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, getting the place ready to be a church, and then we'd all go to work. And then we'd all go to church, and the church services, I wouldn't get home from church any earlier than midnight. Most of the time it was 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And then I had work the next day at 8:00,
So you're massively sleep deprived. And your brain doesn't work as well.
That's
so
right.
you don't have the time to be discerning or to think about any of it. You're just trying to keep your head above water.
I finally just, after I went through a really hard financial period trying to go to school after I lost my job in 2001. And, it was a company downsizing. And I had accepted a promotion in the department that always got hardest hit when there would be cuts. And I knew it was a risk.
Yeah.
But I wanted the job. I really wanted the promotion, So I took it. And Yeah. And I had been part of the cult for 2 years at that point, and I wanted to leave. And I thought, this is my chance. I can go back home, you know? And
Mhm.
so I got manipulated into not going home. And I ended up being there for a total of 10 years. Yeah. But
Well, didn't you say you couch surfed, etc., because there was a point because you weren't working for quite a while at that,
that
right?
was before I got sober. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was pre, Christianity, and, my basically diving whole hog into Christianity. But I did AA in between Christianity and the addiction and couch surfing. But yeah, I spent at least a year, maybe longer, without a home. But I was in a small college town, and I had a lot of people that knew me, and, even
Mhm.
strangers gave me a room to stay in or something, or their couch or whatever. It was at that time, there weren't any homeless people in the community. Not that we knew about. And if we knew about it, we did something about it. It was a very close-knit, very tight community. It's not that way now. It's grown, and, it's doubled in size since those days. It's right out, in those days it was like 40-50,000 people. And, in the college community is kind of a nucleus community, and I was college age.
Yep.
Even though I didn't go to college, I was college age, and I had a lot of friends going to school. I was a hairdresser right out of high school. I went to cosmetology school and did that. I would gladly be that empty vessel filled with higher purpose. We all have seen what good doing things on my own can do. Yeah, Misha. Thank you, Misha. Yeah, we are here. Shannon Smith, the cult that I was in wasn't like a chain of cults. it was kind of a evangelical, charismatic, Pentecostal type orientation, but it was non-denominational, and it wasn't affiliated with any other churches or anything like that. There were people that would come from other churches and be guest ministers and stuff, maybe do a whole week of revival meetings, but it was a Christian cult. It was evangelical. It was yeah. Cult leaders are narcs and psychopaths. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The very fact that he could just flaunt that like that, the way that he did when people were losing their homes and their whatever else they lost, tells me that there is no
Yeah.
conscience there. How can you have a conscience
Right.
and let that stand?
Well, I don't know that you
Yeah.
can. I don't know. I mean, I even think about, I have a 1-bedroom apartment. There's not a lot of space, and I have more stuff than I really need. But I would still find a way somebody could be sleeping on my floor. There are ways to keep people from being homeless, even if you don't have a lot.
That's right. That's right.
And
There are ways. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how, and you'll see people.
It's not like these are stranger. He knows these people.
Right. Right. And you're supposed to care about all these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure those people, if they left eventually, maybe they felt betrayed.
I'm
And
sure.
all the things that they
How
did.
would you not?
Yep.
How would you not? When you wake up from that,
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing is if you're really good, you can keep people from waking up. You can spin a nice little manipulative web and just keep people spinning and spinning and spinning in it.
Yep.
And he was that good. He was.
Yeah.
He was very good at making it not seem like manipulation.
Right. The best are.
Mm-hmm.
The best are. It's your choice to do all of these things, not necessarily there's or. Yeah. Yep, they're good at it. I'm going to grab some water really quick.
Okay, and I'm going to read Misha's comment while you're doing that. I've been doing that awakening of sorts big time recently. After 10 years of living in a haze of denial and guilt and anger and so much more, I have been much like Alice to the caterpillar lately. Wow, Misha, that sounds intense. That sounds so intense. Mm-hmm. Awakened by the looking glass's reflection. What is Alice Caterpillar? Have you ever read it's Alice? It's a reference to Alice in Wonderland. The name of the book is Alice Through the Looking Glass, isn't it? I think it is, but most people know it as
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland. Yeah.
It's been a long time since I saw or read that, so I don't know the story very well, but yeah.
Hey, Shell. Hey, Minsk. Hey, Seventh Son. Good to see you guys. It's such a sad thing. Oh, here's Ben. Hello. Is he toggling himself in, or am I toggling him in?
Ah, yeah. I can work the switch. Yes.
I waited for a minute to see if you were going to toggle yourself in, or and it looked like you were just kind of waiting for me to do it. So
it's been one of those days.
Right on.
So you're back in the porch.
Yeah, it's been a cooler day, so I just opened the windows and let the breeze through, and
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, on days like this, I can be in here. The chair's much more comfortable.
Any chance you can move a chair in there?
Well, I can, but this is a big rattan thing.
Okay.
And that's a small space, so I need like an office chair type thing.
I would say I was really impressed with Tara. She did really well.
Right on.
Because I think she was under the impression I was going to lead it. It's like, oh no, you're going to lead it. It's kind of like one of those things. Like
yesterday, I didn't have a chance.
Yeah,
to watch
yesterday was Steve's birthday.
Yep. Oh,
and
I saw the chat.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how he wanted to spend it was getting all the taxes paid and getting us assessed and getting our cars tagged, which wasn't due until June. So, but that's Steve.
Yeah. Tara.
He loves accomplishing things. So that was a big sense of accomplishing. Yes. And after that, we met up with his cousin and his wife and her sister, and also his nephew.
Excellent.
Yeah. They were at Chewy's. Have you ever heard of a Chewy's restaurant?
Yeah. We have one in Tucson.
It's a Tex-Mex restaurant. It's a chain.
Yeah. They usually have like weird art stuff inside, like chickens and things, or farm animals, I think.
Yeah. A lot of funky paintings of things like that. Yeah. It's such a sad thing to see people who have no sense of shame or empathy being the ones who lead to a higher power. The only type who'd be willing to wager souls either way would be the losers.
Yeah.
I was just talking about kind of the dynamics of the cult that I came out of.
And it's funny because military, a lot of the people I've been reading about neuroscience, they all say that true leaders eat last. That
That's right.
you let your. But it's amazing to me some of these groups that claim to be Christian that
Mhm.
they're like, no, you have to give me money. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I don't have
So,
enough because I to maintain my big, $2
yeah,
million mansion.
yeah,
Oh, or I've got to upgrade. 2 million. Oh, such a
yeah.
slum.
It's so sad to see.
Or I need my own private plane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a big one.
yeah,
Because you can't
unbelievable.
fly commercial.
Yeah.
No, no. Oh,
Yeah.
I know who I was when I got up this morning, but I think I must have changed several times since then. Oh, Misha.
I don't have the slightest clue who I am, but if you see me, let me know because I'm looking for myself. Oh, yeah.
Hey.
I'm trying to become more self-reflective, like my head as my hairline goes back, but
You're getting wiser.
older at least.
I'd like to think that we are learning and getting a little wiser than we were before.
I
I
would
like to
like
think
to
that
think
too.
that in my case, but
Yeah.
Well, I tend to think as long as we continue to try to grow and improve and learn from our mistakes, and I think we're becoming wiser.
Yeah.
yeah,
At least,
yeah, quite.
maybe I want to believe that too for myself.
I think it's true. I mean,
Yeah,
life hands us all kinds of opportunities to learn and become wiser.
yeah,
Lord knows. If
and
that is
that's
what makes them happy and proud, my worst day being homeless sounds better than that. I tend to agree, Misha. The Christian way is to take care of your flock. Agreed, Shannon. Hope between the dreams. Hello, good to see you. Sadly
And
necessary, though. Can't escape that much pain at all without paying the price sometime. I've heard of the book, but not familiar with the reference. Yeah, they have a few movies that she kind of falls down a rabbit hole and
oh
into this
yeah,
little Mad Hatter world and all
mm,
these fantasy creatures sitting around at a tea party, just having very interesting conversation. It's like you enter an alternate reality, basically, is the reference, Shannon, for which you have very little reference to be able to figure out what's going on. Tara is a host for sure. Yeah, man, she did amazing. She sure did.
she really did, and it was one of those things. I almost felt guilty, but no, I actually don't. Maybe I'm letting out my inner psychopath, but no, it was one of those things where it was kind of like going to somebody. Hey, we're having a party. Where? Your house. Guess what? You're invited. It was kind of that thing.
I've had people do that. Back in the day, I had people do that to me.
But no, I actually, yeah. Her and I worked it out, and I asked if she'd be interested in leading, just because it's one of those things. Leading actually takes it's a skill. It really
Mhm,
is, and
mhm.
yeah, I don't know if I could. I mean, I
I
like,
know
okay,
you could.
flip the camera on. What's Ben doing? I think he's having that aneurysm he was talking about. There's slobber coming out of my mouth. You know.
I
You
think
know
you
what?
could too.
I was going to answer Mayonnaise Entertainment's question. Yes, there are still people in. Um,
Mm,
they they actually do live videos, and I happen to catch. I don't even know how it came across
mm,
my purview to know, but yeah, they're still going, and there are still people in it. I saw a lot of people I didn't know, so somehow
mm,
he's roped new people in.
mm. Did you see people you did?
Yeah,
Really? Wow. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And how
But
long?
there seemed to be more people that I didn't know.
Okay. How long has it been?
I left in 2009, fall of 2009.
Okay. For some reason,
So 15 years coming up on.
Were they bigger than before?
Looks about the same.
Okay.
Seventh son. I allowed Ed, my son, to bring in 2 friends that lost their place to live. When the other roommate got arrested after they stayed over 90 days, I agreed to 30 days. When they moved, they stole from me. I'm sorry, seventh son. Yeah, you know, it's a little different when it is people you actually know, and you know that they are not on the take. You know that they're trying to get their lives together. They truly are. That sucks. I'm sorry, seventh son.
Yeah, I'm lucky that when I started college, I stayed with the guy that I had been seeing at the time. I stayed with him and his mom over the summer. And it was kind of a saving grace, because if it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't have had a place to go.
Yeah.
It would either that, or you go home to my dad who's abusive, or my mom who's in a cult.
Yeah. Yeah.
And who doesn't think I should go to college?
That probably wouldn't even work for half a day.
No, it would have been bad. I'd have been, yeah, that would have been really bad.
Yeah.
Because even if I pretended to still care about the group that she's in, even if I pretended, it would still have taken something from me. It would have taken a lot, actually, from me.
It would have. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I mean, I can't even imagine going back to that place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just what one meeting would take for me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I after I had moved out and I was going to college, I was in college at the time. It was interesting, going back to one of their group events. It was weird going back and having how many people knew you were not there, and how isolating it was for a group that supposedly loves everybody and they'll love bomb you when you come in.
Yeah.
It was extremely isolating. That was the clincher, really.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah. You get isolated within and you're isolated without.
That is so amazing that you raised that, because I just happened to be reading a web article online. It was talking about cults and saying first they identify the target, love bomb, then isolate, then create a safe haven, then start handling doubts. I haven't even read it all the way through. Oh, and then start doing ideological indoctrination. But that's so amazing that you just happened to pick up on that, because I just happened to be running across the stuff that gets sent to my inbox from time to time from different cult experts.
Because within your own group, you have this language and this culture that is foreign, that nobody else understands, that's outside of it.
Yep.
Yep. And I always wondered.
No,
go ahead.
I was going to say, and anybody outside of the group is their bad association, or they're going to hell, or they're, whatever your group believes in.
Yeah. Well, and of course, with us, it was like, you were always encouraged to bring people to church with you. And I did bring people in, but they didn't stay, thank goodness. Yeah. And I just thought, oh, they'll get it, because I got it. So how do you not,
Well, but and at the time you were a true believer. You thought, what kind of person would think that this is that they came upon a realization that this is, great. This is going to save you, and not share it with your friends. So
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah. 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 I don't think there was anyone that I brought in that stayed. I may have to give that some time to think about.
I didn't. There was nobody granted, I was younger, but I'm thankful. There's no one I brought in.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
yeah, and I was talking to Christy about this, about people, and I'm still blown away by my experience, because there was something about the whole experience that just seemed comical. And I know that cults definitely aren't, but it allowed me to keep, because that's before I knew about influence or any of the stuff. And I'm not even saying I'm an expert at it. I'm not. I'm just learning like everybody else. But it's amazing that I had my sense of humor about me, because the more research I did, the more it's like, your jaw drops. Like, how can you take this seriously? Like, this is so outlandish. I mean, if it had been something more like what Carol went through, I would probably be sucked into it. But some of their stuff was so comical. I mean, there was some strange stuff. Nothing as strange as, um, the Fifth Invader Force from, I don't remember where, but it was, a lot of it was stuff like that. And it allowed me to just allowed my smart assness, my smart assery to kick in. And that really helped.
Lucky
But
you, man. Lucky
yeah,
you.
yeah. Yeah, it may have just been the combination of the weird beliefs I was exposed to, because of course they have some weird ones, and they have a lot that are fairly
Yeah.
normal. But I didn't read any of those. It was all the. It's like, wow, okay, yeah, um,
Like Shannon Smith says, people want so badly to be part of something and to be connected. It's so true.
yes,
And but you can't truly be connected even to the individual members as long as there's that wall of the cult thing between you, because
yeah.
there's not 100% honesty there, you know, and you can't have connection without honesty. I don't believe you can.
well, and I
Yes,
tend to think you're looking for something when they bring you in,
Yes.
and that you need something. And I think that's how my mom got in. She was very isolated,
Yeah.
and things weren't going well in her marriage, and
Yeah.
this provided an outlet, provided a community, something that she didn't have. And so she stayed. And then once they isolate you from everybody else, you don't have anything else. So now I really don't expect her to ever leave, because I don't think
Yeah.
she has any friends or any resources outside of the group.
yeah,
I
Right.
don't know that she could
Right.
survive. I don't have
Yeah.
resources in. So for me, and I kind of look at it as when I went to college, when I left, moved in with my dad, and then went to college, I'm a teenager, 18, 19.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to make new friends.
Yeah.
I lived in the dorm. I met people just like me. So you
Mm-hmm.
make new friends and you do other
Yeah.
things. And I
Yeah.
can't imagine how isolating it must be for people who leave now, because if you leave, you have nothing. You're leaving everything you've ever known.
Yeah. Every friend you've got, sometimes family members,
If you
so
work for somebody in the group, you lose your job.
lose your job.
yep,
And they have been the group that I was raised in have been known to kick out teenagers because the teenagers didn't want to be part of it. So, okay, so you're, 14, 15.
Yeah.
that
I
is one
can't
test.
imagine. I just,
Yeah, I can't either.
I
That
can't
is
imagine.
one test I like about a church, religion slash whatever you wanted to say, that is caring about people. When you say, you know what, I don't know if this place is for me, most caring places will say, we'll pray for you. If you want to come back, most weird places will say, you get out and you're not allowed, you must disconnect and blah, 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 blah. And that alone
Yeah.
is a really good indicator.
Yeah.
I think it's Stephen Hassan that says
Mhm.
something along the lines of it's a cult. Part of what defines a cult is what happens if you try to leave.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
And he
That's
also,
right.
in the bite model, he also says
Yep.
that not every cult's a religion, and not every religion is a cult.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
and that's the thing is people are looking for connection. That's what
Hmm.
Tommy keeps preaching, and
Hmm.
that's how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to connect with each other. We're herd animals, even though we like to say we're not. We are herding
We are,
creatures.
though. We definitely are.
Yep. Even people like me that really like their independence.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
I had a therapist that actually said, there's going to be somebody else who feels the same way you do. But this is over a decade ago. I'm like, I think a duplex would be a really good idea. Like, so even if I got married or whomever the other person is, a duplex, so we both have our own space and I have my own kitchen and I, you can hang out, you can still sleep in the same bed, but we have our separate spaces. I've gotten set in my ways. It would be, it would be, I think, really hard because I've been single my entire life. It would be really hard for me to have somebody added and start living with.
Wow. Was asked one time when I put $100 in the plate, is there another? Yeah, that's definitely a cult. If you've given your lifeblood and they're still asking for more, you're in a cult.
Yep.
Yeah. You are in the presence of culty McCultiness.
Yeah. Well, and I don't remember if I think it was Stephen Hassan too was having a conversation, and there was a jokingly is about we should be in as many cults as possible. So like my quilting group could be considered a cult, and my, the book reading group could be considered one. And, if you golf or you crochet or, whatever it is, all of those could be kind of considered little cliques or little cults.
Yeah.
The more you're in, the more diversified you are. And so the
Yeah.
less likely that one will take over everything. Whereas,
Yeah, that's where because some groups people will define a cult as something requiring special language, special clothing, a lot of those things, and a lot of groups will fall into those. It's where you get into authoritarian, high control groups
Mm-hmm.
that nefarious cults start to differ themselves from
Mm-hmm.
your average golf club, which actually the golf club would be a pun, but um, golf group, whatever.
yep. Yeah. I mean,
Quilting.
frankly, some quilt groups are apparently very culty. Now, I'm not part of a guild, but apparently some of them are like, there's quilt police that tell you if you're not doing exactly like this, this, and this, it's not done right. There's no room for, so.
Yeah.
And I picked it up, of course, during COVID. So I haven't joined anything, but.
I didn't catch the first part of what you said since before. You haven't what since COVID?
Oh, I haven't. I picked up quilting during COVID.
Oh, okay.
So
you had not done it before that?
I mean, I knew
Really?
about it and I'd
Okay.
sewed for that. And I mostly sewed clothes or, household things, but I'd never done quilting or really, something maybe very, very basic, but nothing big. And now I think about making quilts all the time.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes, I mean, in some of in some of the more relaxed, more casual definitions, yeah. But when most people say cult, they mean like Stephen Hassan defines in a bite model, or Rick Ross, or oh gosh, the early dude. Oh, I can't remember his name. There was a professor in Stanford University. Oh, I can't remember his name, but yeah, they had strict criteria. One of them was a high control group. Of course, Stephen Hassan talks about authoritarianism in the bite model, behavior control, information control, thought control. Emotional.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of it felt right to me, says Mayonnaise Entertainment. I asked too many questions. I hated how they act like they're better than me just because I don't believe in what you do. Yep, that's a cult.
Yeah.
They're very elitist
Yes.
and make you feel like you're part of this elite thing.
Well, I think on some level, everybody wants to feel important or valued. And I think for at least some of the people in the group that I was raised in, that they don't have higher education. I mean, this could be somebody who's a cleaner. Now, there's nothing wrong with a job as a cleaner, but there's not a lot of status with that. So then looking for it inside the group and almost having like a power trip because you don't have it outside, needing it on the inside.
Right. Yeah. Carol, at the beginning, you think you are connected to something better than just yourself. Exactly. And I was really hungry for that at that time in my life. I just, that was all of my being yearned for that. And I feel like a lot of that got damaged in that being squashed part of what, how a cult puts you through the ringer. Yeah. So I've had to work my way back into connection with people,
Do you still, because I know we talked about faith before, so do you still kind of feel a need for some sort of a spiritual outlet or connection or group?
I think so. I think that's why I do this. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm starting to explore the same too. I mean, a little more spiritual because I didn't have anywhere close to the same experience. I just got a general cooling towards this topic, but now I'm starting to warm back up to it.
Right on. After hurricane, there were churches that just came to help people who had their houses destroyed by the hurricane. These were Christians who practiced what they preached. Yeah, and thank God for those people that do.
And I know people who were in the group I was raised in who went for Katrina, went down and helped and acted like they were doing all of this, but they were only helping people in their group.
Yep.
They weren't helping anybody else.
There were some big groups that people would recognize if we were starting mentioning names.
Yeah.
Yep.
If what you give doesn't hurt, dig deeper. Yes. Oh my God, that one. Ooh.
I remember being told that. Can you do more? This person in their wheelchair goes 3 miles to come. Are you doing enough? Could you be doing more?
Yeah. Now that I'm out, I mean, I understand the rationale for that. I understand the arguments for it, but every time I hear that now, I keep thinking of Tom Cruise in the turtleneck video. I still think I could do more. It's not just me. It's not just David Miscavige and him talking about you drive past an accident. You know you're the only one that can help. Yeah, bite me, Tom.
Yeah, I'm not a hater, but they kind of want to make you that way. You know what, Minsk? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is a lot of churches were granted tax exempt status because a long time ago it was felt that churches were a outreach group that would help people with low income and things like that they were doing a job better than the government and everything else. So that's why they have to help for the public good to uphold, and all this stuff. And it seems lately that there's a lot of groups, and there's still a lot of churches that do that. A lot of them do that.
Yeah.
If a church doesn't tie 10% to help the poor, then why do they expect me to charge them 10%?
Yeah.
Kind of
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did go, there was a church out in Minnesota here in Wayzata that I went to for a while. It was UCC, so it was United Church of Christ. And they were very open. So it was giving to there was a lot of different things that they did. And that was part of what I liked, was that it wasn't dependent on how much money you had. It wasn't, everyone was welcome. There was one of the pastors had said, had been asked, were you afraid of letting in goats with your sheep? And he said, I'd rather let in a few goats than keep any sheep out, when describing the church. And so I'm like, yeah, I
P90X,
like that.
I think that's the workout thing.
Yeah,
P90X.
it's a workout.
Oh yeah, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty. 7 years ago, one small step. Yeah, I remember that much of it, but yeah, I was in the Boy Scouts too.
That's kind of why I like thinking of lots of little groups kind of being almost cults, that you could be in a lot of things that maybe seem cult-like, but if it's
But they're
doing
not, it's not high control authoritarian necessarily. Anything can become a cult, you know. It has its own culture, you know. Sports can be a cult, you know, sports fans can be part of a cult, you know. But nobody's losing their houses over it, or their, you know, or their friends or their family members over it. I mean, maybe in extreme cases, but it's not the norm.
Yeah, seventh, that right there. There's a large church that's facing a $200 million lawsuit over knowing this was occurring and not only lying to law enforcement about it, but covering it up and doing everything they could to keep it quiet. I'm waiting to see what happens with that lawsuit.
And who's the suit against?
It's against a church, a very big church that everybody would know if I mentioned the.
Has the lawsuit been made public?
Yes, I don't think anything's happened with it since I think August last year.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe they settled. I don't know. If they did, it was for a heck of a lot of money. I think it's a class action suit though, because it involves so many victims. But yeah, it's one of those things. The bigger it is, the longer it seems to take, because then you get higher powered attorneys in, and you start getting lawfare where they start filing this, you have to file that, and I think Scientology does. I don't mind mentioning Scientology, but
yeah,
I do. I know that was the biggest thing that opened my eyes, was realizing that there was child stuff going on, and I kind of think of this as a negative in myself, that there's so much I could let slide, which there was bad things happening that I could kind of ignore, but when it's children, I can't. I didn't like that portion of myself. But yeah, once I realized that it was happening to kids, and I'm just like, no. And that kind of opened up the door to doing research and finding out how prevalent. I mean, let's just be blunt. It was pervasive in the group I was raised in. And it's pervasive in a lot of different groups, because I know the Royal Commission in Australia looked at the group at the time, and they didn't report it. And some of their practices, there's a reason why they were called a peta paradise.
Yeah.
And
that hurts
there's
me.
a reason they were. Them and many others. But it's just,
this is the truth. Exploitation of women and children is pervasive in cults.
You could tell a lot about a particular religion by how they treat women. If they treat women badly, then that's
a good point.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good point. How they treat women and children.
Yeah.
Like, no, you have to wear pants. Why? Why? Oh, it's not holy. I mean, holy skirts? Is that what you're teaching? Is that really what you're teaching? You don't want to be a, what do you call it, daughter of, uh, I don't remember the name, but
A daughter of
Jezebel.
a Jezebel. Yes, one of those.
I've been called a man whore, so,
By the way, hey, Kenneth and Macmir Doshigal, I hope I'm saying that right.
I
Anyway.
think most groups, I mean, Scientology doesn't like it either, but I think most groups don't like being talked about and mentioned in relation to these things, because I'd like to think that doesn't happen or deny it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I find I can't think about too. That is one subject. When you start getting into specifics, I can't study much of. I'd have to read a little bit and watch
With the brain.
animal videos just to get me out of that mindset. Because that's a dark hole.
It is.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's why I think it woke me up in a way that nothing else could.
Right on.
Wow.
Maktra. Oh, heck.
I say Macmir Doshigal is how I say it. I don't know if I'm saying it right or not.
I like that. I'm going to go with that.
I'd love to know what it means, if it means something.
That's a cool name.
It is. What? I quit being Catholic over
cover-ups.
Yeah. Especially that one of the accused priests, very hands-on without crossing the line with me, other than a swat on the bum.
The Catholic Church was just one of many.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's only your mother's in, your father's out?
Yeah, my father read some of the stuff. So my mom converted when I was 2. My brother's 4 years older, so he would have been 6. And then my sister is like 3.5 years younger than me. So she's definitely was a born-in. I consider myself a born-in because I was 2. There's nothing else I remember. But yeah, she converted. She wasn't raised that way. My dad, I don't think he was at the time, but he's now atheist. Though I suspect because he married a Filipino wife. So he went to the Philippines and married somebody my younger sister's age. I suspect he converted to Catholic to marry, but I don't believe. Yes, my dad bought a wife.
Wow.
I kind of think of it as, I realize that that's not really how that works usually, but it does feel that way when this person is my younger sister's age or a little younger than her.
Wow.
And my younger sister is the baby of the family. So there's something about this person being younger than me that's just creepy to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, it's weird. I don't feel anything negative about her, though. They tend to seem to think that Americans are wealthy and I should be sending them money. And my dad, I hope my dad isn't abusive, but then he's, of course, older. He's now, let me check. I can't even remember anymore how old he is. He turned 87 this year. So they've got a daughter. So I have a half sister I've never met. But he wanted someone to take care of him. And when he was abusive, and so when my parents got divorced, he was very upset about my mom. And I didn't like them fighting. And so then I ended up being this kind of the scapegoat who didn't want either one of them talking bad about the other. And there's lots of mess, but he did. He went many times to the Philippines and then eventually did marry somebody there and then came back to clear out his storage unit. But he only called me because he wanted me to do something for him. He didn't call me because he wanted to see me or to ask how I was.
Hmm.
He called only so he could get me to drive him around. And I didn't see him when he came back.
Good for you.
The only time he called me was when he wanted something.
Yeah.
And
yeah, wow.
Didn't ask about my life.
Wow.
He has no idea. I did allow his brother-in-law, who's, he's probably now maybe in his upper 20s, lower 30s. I did allow his brother-in-law to friend me. And I think I may have technically friended his wife. I don't remember. But so technically they can see a little bit of what goes on in my life. But that young man had I kind of think of it as the audacity to tell me that I needed to call my dad because he missed me when he never calls me. He's never written.
Yeah. Yeah. The phone works both ways.
Yes.
I'm curious, Carol, when you were in, what did your mother think of it?
She was not impressed.
Really? Okay. So I just didn't think thought she just probably didn't know much about it.
No, she would come to visit me in California and she would go to church with me. And after I got out, I asked her what she thought of it. She wouldn't say anything bad about it, but there were points when she talked about how preachers kind of work on your emotions, and how she didn't like that kind of preaching. And then she said, when I asked her what she thought of the church, she said, you know what? Hardly anybody bothered, that especially the people in charge, bothered to speak to me or acknowledge me in any way.
Good for her, though. She was planting seeds.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Because she probably was looking around like she probably, I mean, I get my lack of a poker face from somewhere, and so she was probably like, yeah, I see what's going on here,
She probably loved you a lot and, didn't
She
want to
did.
cause you any pain.
She supported me, even though I was in that. She was very supportive of me, even being in that, when she had every right to not be.
That's a good loving mother right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you had that kind of relationship.
Yeah, I am too.
In response to Maynie's, I think the woman that my dad married was in her 30s when they got married. And so I don't know if something had happened and she wasn't finding somebody her own age or there wasn't anybody for her. But yeah, she ended up marrying my dad. And my dad isn't wealthy, but by their standards, he could retire and have an okay to comfortable life. So he went there because it's a lot less expensive.
Right. Okay.
And they've been together. I think my half sister is probably close to graduating from high school. I didn't know that my dad was going to make it because he's 70 and he's marrying somebody less than half his age.
Yeah.
And they have one kid, is my understanding.
Oh.
Somebody's bird's talking.
But yeah. But I know that in that culture, you don't have a lot of options. And so this is one way. Only thing is, my dad decided not to come back here. So my dad didn't bring her back. If she was hoping for a way to get into the country, she didn't get it.
It didn't work out that way.
Nope. But she's there near her family. And her family bullied or kind of talked my dad into helping pay for his brother-in-law's college. So things that my dad wouldn't do for me, he did
Yeah.
for his wife's family.
Hmm.
So I think in some ways I'm a little less worried about her because she has family there kind of supporting her. But yeah.
On behalf of men everywhere, Rebecca, I'm sorry.
Thank you, but you don't have to. I know there's good men.
Hmm.
There's a lot of really good men, actually. I think
Mhm.
there's probably far more of them than are bad.
Yeah. You just hear
bad
about the bad ones more. Yeah.
I don't even think my dad entirely, in so many ways, I think my mom and my dad had a lot in common and were meant for each other,
Hmm.
which is kind of a sad thing to say because they both had issues. But that watching their dynamic is why I couldn't get married,
Hmm.
because I thought it was giving up your independence. I thought it was giving up your life. And it took a long time to realize that, no, you don't have to give, you're not necessarily giving up everything about who you are and
Yeah.
becoming somebody else or losing yourself.
Mhm.
It depends on who you marry.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not every guy's going to expect that.
No.
Actually, most won't.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Shannon Smith, there are many good men. There
yeah.
are good men. My dad was awesome, and I'm sure he's not the only one. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Some of you may never hear this, but you are loved. Keep your heads up.
Hmm. Good
Right
point.
on, Minsk. Yeah.
Oh,
The
cool.
third world daughters marriage to Americans can bring other family members to the U.S.
Yeah. And I did wonder if that's one of the things that was her goal, was to
If you're,
get my dad to bring her to America. And then, of course, she's had a child. And I'm assuming that child might be dual citizenship. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
yeah, I don't know either.
Because
I
she's
wonder if it varies from country to country where you're from.
maybe.
Hmm.
But yeah,
I
so
don't know.
and I don't know how that works. But
Hmm.
if my dad had ever submitted paperwork on it, I would have to assume if you're American and you go to a different country, I'd have to assume you have to submit paperwork to file them as an American.
I mean,
I don't know.
if
I
their
mean, it's
parents were
possible.
American, yeah, I'll have to look that up too. I'm
I'm
curious
kind of
now.
curious now. Yeah, I don't know if that daughter, like my half sister, is like dual citizenship or not.
Now
I don't
Shannon
know.
says that, yeah, that would give them dual citizenship.
Did
Hmm.
you get it automatically though? Or do you have to file paperwork? Because she was born in the Philippines. She wasn't born here. His wife, as far as I know, has never been here, nor
Hmm.
has any of her family.
Hmm. Does he still
So,
come back here?
nope. Nope.
Hey, Misha.
He came back a couple of times because he had to. And then he came back one other time to clean out what little stuff was left in the storage unit here. And then so that was the last of his possessions in the country. And then, yeah, he's not come back since.
Hmm.
So,
Macmir Doshigal says you just register them at the nearest consulate. Okay.
and there
that
is
makes
one
sense.
near because they're near there. I think, is it Cebu? I think it's Cebu. They're near that area and it's near a decent sized city. So so maybe that's part of what she did is she may have married my dad and stayed in the Philippines, but maybe her daughter now can come to America if she chooses.
And then Seventh Son says I believe the child would dual citizenship until 18 and then have to decide
Yeah.
have to decide which country to be from. Or
Yeah.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
I've heard of people having dual citizenship though, so that
I've
is
heard
a
that.
thing.
I know a couple of people who are American and Canadian. citizens. But
How are you, Misha?
I'm going to ease myself in because I don't want to blow anybody's ears up. How's my sound?
Sounds
good.
good. You can turn it up a little even.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a
Well, how
whole
about I get a
channel
little closer?
on this. Married to a Filipino. Type the name to show all the facts. Okay.
oh,
Yeah,
I'm
prove
curious
your
to know.
father's American and he's on the birth certificate. Okay.
I would have to assume he is. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Philippines is an odd duck for the USA.
Yeah.
I know he's on my birth certificate, and my dad, unless he's given up his citizenship, I assume he's still American. Wouldn't he still have to be American to get Social Security?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's still American because that's what he lives on.
Okay.
Wow.
The guy he paid.
Can you hear me
for-
now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Woo, woo, woo. Guys,
So
I know sometimes I seem like I'm trying to be a little preachy. I don't mean to be. And so if I do that, please just let me know, because it's not, I won't ever apologize for my feelings towards God, but at the same time, I don't want to offend anybody either. And so I don't ever want to come across like that.
Okay.
But I want to say a couple of things, if y'all don't mind.
yeah, okay.
One, I think that it's such a tragedy that before people even really get a chance to give God a chance, sometimes what has been done, we have been so conditioned against in so many ways. If God were to have an enemy, he would have to be amazingly powerful as well. And what a job has been done. Just theoretically there, just to throw that out there. I think every single person will have the chance to get to know what is true in their hearts. And I think that a sin is a sin is a sin. And we're not supposed to be doing that. We are supposed to be loving. And I don't know a whole lot. I've read the Bible, but it's inside of us, because the Bible itself has been changed so many times. I mean, just last night I was looking at it, and there's so many revisions, because obviously it would have to be. It was through so many different languages, and you cannot find word for word. One of my favorite words in the world is not even in American or English. It's Welsh, and it's called Haarth. And that is the feeling. It's Welsh. It's the feeling of home that's never existed here. And so that's just my example of, so many words cannot be translated. If there's that many Bibles, it means that there's something about it that does get translated, because, we don't know everything, obviously, but we're not supposed to. But what is in our hearts, if we hold on to that, we're going to find the answers.
Right on.
I just kind of wanted to throw that out there because, sorry.
People forget Jesus is forgiving, church is not. And one thing that Jesus wasn't very forgiving about was the people who were imposing religious standards on people that they wouldn't themselves follow.
Yep.
Scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. You're like whitewashed tombs. You're full of dead man's bones.
Yeah.
That's not very nice to them.
I mean, we were staying at a shelter one time, and they had this giant, right next door, they had this giant parking lot because it was for a huge church. And we lived by OU, Oklahoma University football, Sooners, Boomer. Somebody better say it, I hope. But we would come up with this idea to raffle the parking lot spaces for $5 a parking lot space. And that was to raise money for the shelter. And so the night before, we'd gotten permission from the church. We'd done everything like we were supposed to. The night before, we got popcorn balls made, and we made all these different things to sell as well. The entire community come together, and it was such an amazing experience. We put little face paint on all the kids, let them dress up as cheerleaders, football players, It was amazing. Somebody come up to us during the middle of it that apparently hadn't talked to the church, but she was part of it. And she was so upset because that was theirs to do. They weren't doing anything that weekend, so it would have just sat. The woman walked away, and as she walked away, she flipped us off.
Oh, jeez.
It broke my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I shouldn't have probably, but I wasn't where I needed to be either. And I told my youngest, Alsan, I said, would you please go ask her and do what she did and ask her what that means? She was representative of who all these people in this shelter needed the most. In my opinion, we needed someone. We needed to have faith. And that should have been a beacon. Instead, it was such a horrible shame. And that is not, it's been so just done ugly. And I have to throw that out there because it's, you know, we are who we are before we're born. We're who we are. We're not going to be set up for disaster. We're not going to be set up for failure. Everything that we're supposed to have, we have. And I have a special relationship, but I think all of us could, with whoever it is that we are supposed to. You know, and I get preachy and I don't mean to, but I'm also very passionate because the one thing that has always been with me through everything has been that. And that is what's got me through so much. And that's what I feel every time that I connect with somebody. I feel that love. And there's no way that this love could be these ugly things that they're saying.
That's right. That's right. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love doesn't delight in evil, but rejoices in good. Is that right? Am I getting it right?
Oh, I think you are.
1 Corinthians 13.
Wow, you remember the verse even.
That's beautiful.
Oh, now I'm wondering.
I'm
Love is
looking
patient.
at
No, we're all playing the look it
It
up
does
game.
not envy, it does not boast.
It used to be really
It
good,
is
really
not
versatile.
proud.
I can't.
It does not dishonor others. It is not
But it's
self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves.
Love that.
I do too. We are made, in my opinion, the way I believe, we are made in the image. He knew who we were. We can't be ashamed of that. We should be proud of that. And that also tells me that I'm not a mistake. I may feel like it sometimes, but you don't make mistakes.
Okay, so we were
that's
talking about
my
dual
feelings on
citizenship.
how I am with mine.
Okay, I respect that. Yeah.
I think your rooster does too.
And thank y'all for letting me come on.
Yeah.
Do what?
The rooster respects it too. He's can
Right.
you hear the rooster back in the background?
I love the rooster. It feels good to be back on here. I haven't been on here in a long, long time.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
Welcome
I think
back.
I'm dealing with some stuff. Thank you.
Well, how are you
I've
doing?
been trying to build me a little space bigger than what I had before. That's my goal today, is to actually make some space. Because I've had a lot of realizations come through lately.
Okay.
And I don't deserve that. I don't deserve to be that person.
Right on.
So
Right on.
I actually called myself accountable on the boat earlier this morning. I'm like, I'm going to do it. And I'm telling y'all, so that way I can't get out of it. So there's progress being made.
And did you say what it is you're going to be doing?
Oh, I'm making myself at least 2 foot bigger of space that I allow myself. Because I'm not kidding when I say 4 foot by 4 foot. It's not a 4 foot house. Like, it's not small. It's not a huge house. It's a little house. But out of the entire house and the backyard and the storage buildings and the garage, I have allowed myself, like, everything else is filled up, and I've allowed myself just enough space to sit with my desk.
Mm.
And,
Wow.
boxes upon boxes. Your energy, what you look at, your environment is a lot of what causes your emotions.
That's
All I
true.
see is a giant game of Tetris.
Oh,
And I'm tired of playing
Mm.
Tetris. I am a gamer. I used to be. I'm on the cover of a video game,
Yeah.
my goodness. I shouldn't be playing it in real life. So I can't clear anything else up if I can't get that done.
Crystal
So it's a
says
goal.
it's good to hear you talk, Misha. I enjoy hearing from you, she says.
Thank you, Crystal.
Yeah, I do too.
Thank you.
I love this. Awaken, so nice to hear you, Rick Spicer says. I believe in
Oh, yeah,
God. No walls, God. Me and him, direct call. I just pray for others. I love that.
Yes. Yes. Rick is such a fabulous guy. I tell you what,
Right on.
he always makes me smile.
and I'm glad you
Love
have
you.
it, even though I kind of feel like in some ways I don't kind of understand that whole kind of belief in God to the same level. I don't know. So I fall under the agnostic. I just really don't know. But I do think you get what you give in this life. And so there is that there's a spiritual leaning without it being necessarily defined. But I love that we can all be here. Because I love that you have that.
I think it's
'Cause
great
if-
that we can.
Because I'm glad that you have
Yeah.
something that
Yeah.
resonates with you, even though
Yeah.
it's something that doesn't completely resonate with me and I don't completely understand. But I love you all and I'm glad you're here. I don't know. I just felt like
Right
saying
on.
that.
I love
Felt
you,
right
and I
on.
love everybody here. I love this. This is it. There's no way that we were all led to each other without it being something. I mean, there's got to be some reason for that. You don't get that many awesome people in one area, in one group. I mean, come on. I really think there's a reason why we've all come together. And don't get me wrong, I don't know. I still get confused on the daily. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not a preacher, I'm not a leader. I need someone to discuss it with because I have so many questions myself. I used to be into the other stuff. There is a lot of questions, but that's where we have the freedom to seek it out.
Yeah. We need more positivity in life and wish all peace in this life. Yes, Minsk.
Yes. This world needs a lot more love,
Yeah.
a lot more
Oh, yeah.
kindness, a lot more compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Empathy, willing to just
Agreed.
look outside of our boxes.
Yeah.
Big time. Because nobody, like I said earlier about being, man, woman, felon, not discovered yet. There's truth to that because every single one of us has done something that's deserving to get a lot more punishment than what we've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
But if we got away with it, then it's easy to go ahead and point that finger because, hey, if we don't, maybe the finger will be pointed closer to us.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, hey, you're going through something, what can I do that would make it easier? And what can we do to work together?
Sure.
That's been lost in so many ways, and it's hurt our entire society.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank you all for being the good side. And I'm going to get off of here, but I'm really grateful, really, really grateful for all of you guys.
I'm glad you joined us.
Grateful for you too, and I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for letting me. And one more thing, I have a question. We are time travelers, right? So we've got a very special lady that is having a birthday, but she's all the way across the world, and she is one of the reasons why we time travel. Monique has a birthday, and I don't know if it starts.
Monique.
I don't know how to tell her happy
Hey.
birthday. Do I tell her now, or how do I tell her? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Monique. Good to know. How did you find out?
Well, I have a few talents, but this one was she just told me.
I'm
So
Is
it's
Monique
a
in the
very
chat?
wonderful thing to celebrate. I know she was earlier. If not, I'm going to tell her to go back and look because
Happy
it's something to
birthday.
celebrate. She needs to know that she's celebrated.
I'll do a little chair dance.
There you go. I'm doing it too. You can't see it, but I'm doing it. I'm feeling it.
Just get a little silly.
Yeah, that's what we got to do too. Yo, I've been doing the dance, not the yoga, but like the kids' classic songs and stuff. Like, hi, my name is Joe, and I work at the Button Factory. You know that song? Tell me y'all know that one, and I just didn't.
I don't.
Okay.
That's okay.
Sorry. Meanwhile, but no, just the kids' songs because it puts me in a good mood and it gets me energized. And I was watching a cleaning show the other day, and this girl started. She said, "Your first 2 minutes is what gets you excited and motivated for the rest of the time." She says, 2 minutes, you got to dance. I don't care. Just do it. Act silly, do whatever. And oh my goodness. Yep. She got me going. That's all it took. All this time. Anyways, I love y'all.
I'll have to hunt her down if she's not still here and wish her happy birthday.
I'll get on there and tell her she's got to get on here because that's worth celebrating.
Right.
It is.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
And apparently your rooster will tell people too.
Yes.
Is
That
that what the rooster's doing?
Carol's rooster does not keep secrets. This is a known.
Y'all ready?
It's his own little happy birthday song.
I don't know if she's here to hear it. She was here a little bit earlier, but I haven't seen her pop up in the chat. Monique, if you're here, pop up. Let us know you're here. Otherwise, I'm going to have to. Yeah.
I almost forgot. I need to share the good news. Yesterday, I went in and had some lung function tests, and then they tried this saline something with a nebulizer. So it's designed to kind of help break up the mucus in my lungs so that I can cough it up and get rid of one of my inhalers. The really good news is my lungs, I went 2 days without any inhalers. I could breathe. And my lung function test went really well. Now, my lungs are not healed. There's still damage. There's still stuff. There's inflammation. It's not perfect. But the great thing is it's managed in a way that it wasn't even 6 months ago.
That's great.
I can breathe. And occasionally, it doesn't happen very often, but a couple of times I've forgotten to take my inhalers because I was breathing like a normal person.
Wow. That's great.
So yeah, the lung function test, the last time I went in, we spent an hour because I had a hard time getting through the tests because they're making you breathe and do all this stuff. This time I was done with the test in 35 minutes.
Wow. That is amazing. I'm so happy for
really
you.
Good. Feels really, really good. So I had to share. It's just a win.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. I love a good win.
It feels like a little win, but it's really nice. And I didn't get my shot yet today. I got to call them. So my job after I get off this is to call on the shot that I'm supposed to get, but that's part of the medication that's been helping my asthma.
Okay.
And so making it more under control. So
that is great. Yes.
I'll just do a silly dig right here. But
yeah.
So it's nice. It feels really good. And the fact it was just like, I know I've been breathing better. I know that I can still, I know I'll get out of breath when I do a little bit more exercise related stuff. There's still the fatigue. There's still all sorts of stuff. But the fact I can breathe much more like a normal person when I take my inhalers, that just makes, and the fact that I could do some of the test stuff that you're supposed to do, and I actually could do it this time instead of struggling to do it.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Wow.
Feels good.
You know what? Even though you say it's a little win, it sounds like a big win. Any win is a big win with what you've been going through.
I keep hoping that if this gets, I think maybe this is it. If this is getting a little better,
Mhm.
So it doesn't change that my lungs have permanent damage and that I'm going to potentially struggle with this, but that maybe this means that the other stuff can get better too.
Yeah.
That,
Right on.
maybe it's just not because I'm 52. I kind of feel like I've got another 30 to 40 years to go. And I don't like the idea of having 30 to 40 years as I'm experiencing life.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels
Yeah.
like maybe there is a little light at the end of the tunnel. There's maybe a little hope that
Yeah.
wasn't there
Mhm.
before.
Yeah.
That's so good.
A little bit of improvement. Hope.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so happy for you.
So all that work is paying off.
Yeah. That's
So
so amazing. Wow. That's lots of people were celebrating that with you. I don't know if you saw the comments. Can you see the
Tell the
comments?
smile. I can. Thank you all very much.
Yeah.
It's the little things in
It is.
life.
Yeah.
A lot of times it is the little things. Really is.
This means I
Backyard
can
for some-
kayak again, or canoe, or rock climb, or go hiking, or do other stuff.
Yeah.
Again.
I would love that. Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
Well, what do you guys think? Have we had a meeting? Put a 3 in the chat if you feel like you've had a meeting. 2 if you still need a meeting. Just think of 3 as part of a heart.
Yes. What makes me want to do? I just wanted to do a heart.
Right on. Uh-oh, Matrix, you need a meeting. Well, what's going on? So
Oh, you're
very
still in the
proud
hospital?
of you, Rebecca. I don't even know what you did, but I already know it had to be great. I love your newest smile.
Oh, Resin, are you still in the hospital?
Oh,
You were in the
Just got-
hospital, Matrix?
Oh, he still is. Okay.
Okay. Do you want to pop in?
hopefully getting out tomorrow.
Okay.
You know, the ones are for you.
Yeah, the ones
Resin.
are for you, Matrix, definitely. I'm sorry you're in the hospital. I hope you're okay. Lordy. What's my Todd doing in the hospital? No. Out tomorrow. You'll all charge me up. Matrix, we are here. What up? Yeah. I put the link there if you want to come in and talk. Otherwise, just let us know what we can do.
And we send you love and support.
Yes.
And hugs and
Yes. And
please let us
healing.
know.
And, mm-hmm. Okay. You will be okay. I'm assuming that means you will be okay. That's good to know. I know you've been struggling, Matrix, and I'm sorry that it's culminated into a hospital stay, but I'm glad you're getting medical attention that you need. Hopefully you're on the way up and on the mend. They're moving me to another room. Okay. Sending you love, Todd, says Shannon Smith.
Oh, I'll catch up with you tomorrow.
I will catch up with you tomorrow. Okay. Right on. I will be okay. Okay, Matrix. Well, in the meantime, we'll keep you in our thoughts, hearts, prayers. Be sending good thoughts, good wishes your way for healing and everything. What we each individually do.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Matrix. No problem. It's good to see you.
Yes.
And I do hope you have a good night and do get out tomorrow. Okay.
Awesome.
You know what? Now that you mentioned that, Rick Spicer, I've been making room in my house too. I've been kind of condensing things, and I've taken 2 carloads of donations to the Peace at Home thrift store, which is for the local women's shelter here. And yeah.
Every time I make more room, I buy more books. And I don't like reading. That's what gets me. Words is hard.
It's good to see you, Matrix.
Pathway of surrender,
Okay.
self-hypnosis,
Sounds good. Yes, please do.
6-minute x-ray, sizing people up, the ellipsis manual. That's just my reading I brought with me.
I feel like such an underachiever in comparison.
Oh, but how much have I read today?
You were cleaning when this happened. Uh-oh.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Mo Love. Good to see you. Welcome from over at the Lifeboat. Ben, I used to have enough books to make a small library jealous. Still have a bunch, but yeah. Ben, may I suggest my book, Space, Science, Kindness?
Yeah, I got my reading, and what gets me is my Amazon list keeps growing and growing and growing, and words is so hard.
Good. How are you doing, Mo Love? Good to see you. We were just wrapping things up, I think. How are you? 3 books. Well, I am so happy for you, Rebecca. Yeah. We'll take a win. I'm great. Oh, no, it's ending. Yeah, we've been going for, how long is it now?
Hour and a half?
Hour and a half. Yeah. Hour and 42 minutes. It starts at 3:40 Central Time, which is 1:40 Pacific, 2:40 Mountain Time, and 4:40 Eastern Standard Time if you're in the U.S.
Love Rick Beato. Rick Beato's a great guy.
Right on. Hope to see you all again sometime. This is my first time meeting you 3. Well, it's nice meeting you. Yeah, we're here Monday through Friday at 3:40 every day. And then the weekends I'm off. But
wait a minute, we got
Lord Kiss Freak. Hi everyone. Update on the job. They got a hold of my references yesterday and sent me an email today to let me know I will hear back from them later this week. Okay. We'll be still keeping those ones coming for you.
That's great news.
Well,
Yes,
I'll be
it
the
is.
first to go. And I, for everybody as well in the chat, love you guys.
Love
Great to
you.
see you. Great to talk with you. Hugs, kisses, support.
Love you, Rebecca. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yay. So did you hear Jet a little bit ago?
No, I missed it. It was late.
He's been, for some reason, he decided he wanted to hole up in the barn all day. So now during the meeting, he came out into the stud pen area and started braying real loud. I thought sure you could hear it.
Nice. I'll definitely go back and listen for it.
I think it was about halfway through the meeting, somewhere in there.
Oh, cool. That's good to know.
Late to the party, but I made it. Yay, Izzy, good to see ya.
Well,
yeah.
I hope your vacation, I won't call it that because you went to DMV,
Right? You know, I mean, it was his birthday, and that's what he wanted to do. So, what are you gonna do? Go to the DMV with him, help him celebrate his birthday.
I hope
I
it didn't
mean,
take that long. Oh my gosh. Yeah, to me that smacks of some masochism there. But
yeah, big time.
I think that boy's got some issues. I think we need to talk about
Yeah,
this.
just we might.
Oh, I do hope today has been a relaxing.
Yeah,
Well, let's go.
I've gotten a good deal done today, so that feels pretty good.
Oh, good. That's always good.
Every
Yeah.
day has been a little bit productive. I've had a
Oh,
little bit of productivity every day since I started taking this new medication.
yeah. I was going to ask how that was
Yeah,
going
and
for
it and I'm so happy about that, and it's not a struggle.
you. Hmm.
You know,
So,
when I'm tired, I sit down.
so it has helped your ability to focus and
It
things.
really has.
And what was it again?
Adderall
Adderall. Okay.
for it's for ADHD, and now that I'm kind of on seeing this side of it, I didn't realize what a tug of war I had going on in my poor little brain,
Hmm.
my poor mind.
Thank you for
But
that. 'Cause
yeah,
yeah, because I have a doctor's appointment coming up soon,
okay.
and I was going to talk to her just because, yeah, it's one of those things. I don't know if it's solar activity or what, but even if I don't necessarily, I just want to change something in my baseline, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I can appreciate that.
yeah, because I noticed that when it spikes really bad, and
Yeah.
I'll be mapping, and then um, Amazon has army men on sale. I got them. And then that stuff leads to, and then looking up videos of people making donuts. Yeah, but I do hope you have yourself a
Hope you do
great day.
too, Ben.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Great meeting you guys. Thank you so much for being here and being part of it. I love each and every one of you, and thank you for making this community what it is. It's a good place to be. It's a great place to be. And I hope to see you again next meeting, which will be tomorrow at 3:40 Central Time. And until then, peace, y'all.